She, the blessed goddess, Mahatmyam, seizes the minds of even the wise and draws them into delusion. Remembered in distress, you remove fear from every creature. Remembered by the untroubled, you confer even greater serenity of mind. Dispeller of poverty, suffering, and fear, who other than you is ever intent on benevolence toward all? Salutation be to you, Narayani, who are the good of all good, the auspicious one, to you who accomplish every intent, to you, the refuge, the all-knowing shining Gaudi. Salutation be to you, Narayani, who are intent on rescuing the distressed and afflicted that take refuge in you, to you, O Devi, who remove the suffering of all. O Devi, who exist in the form of all, who are the ruler of all, possessing all power, protect us from fears. O Devi Durga, salutation be to you. When pleased you destroy all afflictions, but when displeased you thwart all aspirations. No calamity befalls those who have taken refuge in you, and they who resort to you become a refuge to others. O ruler of all, may you allay all the miseries of the three worlds, and so too annihilate our enemies. Meditation on Mahakali from the first Carita. Om. I revere Mahakali, who holds in her hands the sword, discus, mace, arrow, bow, iron club, spear, sling, human head and conch, who is three-eyed, adorned on all her limbs, and sparkling like a sapphire, who has 10 faces and 10 feet, and whom Brahma extolled while Vishnu slept in order to slay Madhu and Kaitaba. 1. The slain of Madhu and Kaitaba. Om. Salutation to Chandika. Om. Markandeya said, Savarni, who is Surya's son, is called the 8th Manu. Listen while I relate the story of his birth, and of how by Mahatmya's authority, he, the illustrious son of the sun god, came to be the lord of an age. Long ago in the age of the Manu Sarvochispa, there arose from the line of Chaitra a king named Surata, who ruled over the whole earth. He looked after his subjects justly, as if they were his own children. But there were princes at that time who attacked the native hill tribes and became his enemies. Though mightily armed and resolved to fight against them, he suffered defeat in battle despite his enemies' inferior forces. And so, with only his native province left to rule, he returned to his own city. There, powerful adversaries set upon him, the illustrious Surata, now bereft of strength. His ministers, mighty, corrupted, and disposed to evil, seized power and plundered the treasury, even there in his own city. Thus robbed of his dominion, the king mounted his horse on the pretext of hunting, and rode off alone into the dense forest. He came upon the hermitage of Medas, chief among the twice-born, and beheld a forest retreat, graced by the sage's disciples. There he saw beasts, once wild, now peacefully abiding. Welcomed by the sage, he remained at the hermitage for some time, wandering here and there about the enclosure. In that setting, self-centered concerns came to seize his mind, and he reflected, I have left behind the capital that my ancestors governed before me. Are my perverse officials overseen it justly or not? My prized elephant, valiant and of unceasing prowess, has fallen into the hands of my enemies. I know not what comforts he'll now enjoy. Those retainers of mine, constantly eager for favor, wealth, and feasting, now surely submit to other lords. Their habitual squandering will soon deplete the wealth I so laboriously amassed. While pondering those and other questions, the king caught sight of a lone merchant approaching the sage's hermitage. Who are you, he asked, and what brings you here? Why do you look so sorrowful and dejected? Hearing the king speak in friendship, the merchant bowed respectfully and replied. The merchant said, I am a merchant named Samadhi, born in a wealthy family. My wife and children grew wicked through avarice and cast me out. Destitute of riches, wife, and children, my wealth taken from me, I have arrived in the forest distressed and forsaken by trusted kinsmen. Being here, I know not whether good fortune or ill has befallen my children, wife, and family. At present is well-being or misfortune theirs at home. How are my children? Is their behavior virtuous or vile? The king said, Those greedy sons, wife, and others who dispossessed you of your wealth, why does your mind still cherish them? The merchant said, even as you say it, this very thought occurs to me. But what can I do? My heart is not inclined to rancor, but still turns with affection to those who drove me away, scorning love for father, husband, and kinsman, out of lust for wealth. I recognize this, O wise one. Still I do not understand how my thoughts are drawn in love to my unworthy kinsfolk. Because of them I sigh, overcome with despair. What can I do, since the pain has failed to harden my heart? Markandeya said. Then together they approached the sage, the merchant named Samadhi, and Surata, the best of kings. Having observed the respect that was the sage's due, the merchant and the king sat down to tell their stories. The king said, Revered sir, I wish to ask you one thing. Please reply. Without control of my thoughts, my mind is coming to grief. I remain possessive toward my lost kingdom and all parts of the realm, as if unaware that they are no longer mine. Venerable sage, how can this be? And this fellow has been humiliated by his children and wife, deserted by his servants, and forsaken by his own people. Still he feels exceeding affection for them. It is the same with me. We are both distressed to the utmost, held by attachment to things even though we see their faults. Venerable sir, how is it that we, who should know better, can be so deluded? Ours is the perplexity of those who are blind to right understanding. The seer said, Illustrious king, through the perceptions of the senses, every living being has knowledge of the manifest universe. The objects of sense perception reveal themselves in various ways. Some creatures are blind by day, and others are blind by night. Some creatures see equally by day and night. Truly, humans are endowed with the power of perception, but they are not alone, for cattle, birds, wild animals, and all other living creatures also perceive. That awareness which humans have, birds and beasts possess also. And their awareness humans have too. In other ways also the two are similar. Look at these birds. Though feeling the pangs of hunger, out of delusion they still busy themselves by dropping food into the beaks of their young. Illustrious sir, humans long for offspring, surely expecting gratitude in return. Do you not see this? In this very manner they are hurled into the whirlpool of attachment, the pit of delusion, by the power of Mahatmyam, who produces the continuing cycle of this transitory world. Do not be astonished. This same Mahatmyam is Yoganidra, the meditative sleep of Vishnu, the Lord of the world. By her this world is deluded. She, the blessed goddess Mahatmyam, seizes the mind of even the wise and draws them into delusion. She creates all this universe, moving and unmoving, and it is she who graciously bestows liberation on humanity. She is the supreme knowledge and the eternal cause of liberation. Even as she is the cause of bondage to this transitory existence, she is the sovereign of all lords. The king said, Revered sir, who is that goddess whom you call Mahatmyam? How did she originate, and in what ways does she act? And whatever her glory, this goddess, whatever her form and origin, all that I wish to learn from you, who are supreme among the knowers of Brahman. The seer said, She is eternal. Having the world as her form, she pervades all this. Yet she emerges in various ways, hear it from me. Although she is eternal, when she manifests to accomplish the purpose of the gods, she is said to be born in the world. At the end of the cosmic day, when the universe dissolved into the primordial ocean, the blessed Lord Vishnu stretched out on the serpent Sesha and entered into meditative sleep. Then two fearsome Asuras, the notorious Madhu and Kaitava, issued forth from the wax in Vishnu's ears, intent on slaying Brahma, who was seated on the lotus that grew from Vishnu's navel. When he saw the raging Asuras and the sleeping Vishnu, Brahma could think of nothing but to awaken him, and to that end he extolled Yoganidra, who had settled over Vishnu's eyes as his blessed sleep. The resplendent Lord Brahma extolled her who rules the universe, who sustains and dissolves it. He extolled her who is incomparable. Brahma said, You are the mantras of consecration to the gods and the ancestors. At your bidding they are uttered, and they are your very embodiment. You are the nectar of immortality, O imperishable, eternal one. Truly, you abide as the transcendent being. Yet in every moment you abide, inseparable and inexpressible, as the eternal source of all becoming. Indeed, you are that. You are Savitri, the source of all purity and protection. You are the supreme mother of the gods. By you is this universe supported. Of you is this world born. By you is it protected, O Devi, and you always consume it at the end. You are the creative force at the world's birth and its sustenance for as long as it endures. So even at the end of this world you appear as its dissolution, you who encompass it all. You are the great knowledge and the great illusion, the great intelligence, the great memory, and the great delusion, the great goddess and the great demoness. You are primordial matter, differentiating into the threefold qualities of everything. You are the dark night of periodic dissolution, the great night of final dissolution, and the terrifying night of delusion. You are radiant splendor. You reign supreme, yet are unassuming. You are the light of understanding. Modesty are you, and prosperity, contentment, tranquility, and forbearance. Armed with sword and spear, and with club and discus, waging war with conch, bow, and arrows, sling and iron mace, you inspire dread. Yet you are pleasing, more pleasing than all else that is pleasing, and exceedingly beautiful. Transcending both highest and lowest, you are indeed the supreme sovereign. Whatever exists, true or untrue, and wherever it may be, O soul of everything, you are the power of all that. How can I praise you? By you, even he who creates, protects, and devours the world is subdued with sleep. Who here can praise you? You have caused even Vishnu, Shiva, and me to assume our embodied forms. Who then can truly praise you? Thus extolled, O Devi, may you with your exalted powers confound those unassailable Asuras, Madhu and Kaitava. Let Vishnu, the Lord of the world, be quickly awakened from his slumber and be roused to slay the two great Asuras. The seer said, Praise thus by the Creator to rouse Vishnu into slaying Madhu and Kaitava. Then and there the dark goddess emerged from his eyes, mouth, nostrils, arms, heart, and chest, and appeared before Brahma, who is born from the unmanifest. And released by her, Vishnu, the Lord of the world, arose from his serpent couch on the undifferentiated ocean, and beheld the evil-natured Madhu and Kaitava, exceedingly strong and courageous, seen red with anger and determined to devour Brahma. Then the blessed, all-pervading Vishnu rose up and fought with them in hand-to-hand combat for 5,000 years. And they, mad with the arrogance of power and confounded by Mahatmyam, exclaimed to him, Ask a boon from us. The blessed Lord Vishnu said, Since you are pleased with me, so be it. I will surely slay both of you now. What other boon is there to ask? The seer said, Thus deceived, and beholding that the world consisted entirely of water, they addressed the lotus-eyed Vishnu, saying, Slay us where water does not flood the earth. The seer said, So be it, said Vishnu, the wielder of conch, discus, and mace. Taking the two of them onto his lap, he cut off their heads with his discus. Thus did the Devi herself appear when praised by Brahma. Hear still more of her glory, which I will tell you.